Hello, everybody, and welcome to another adventure in history. I apologize for running a little bit late. My mom decided that I needed to have a text conversation with her, and I was trying to set some stuff up for charity stuff, and I got like honestly the theme of about the last 5 days has been, do I have to have that done right now? Right now? Right now? No excuses. I apologize. Forgive me. I will do my penance if I need. I hope everybody's having a good one. Hey, Asafa, good to see you. It's not been a bad time. It's just been a hectic time, right? You need to turn in your term paper tonight. Is that due tonight? Oh, man, I thought I had till Friday on that. Crap. Is it due at midnight at least? If it's due at midnight, I still have hope. I actually, one of the reasons why life has been kind of hectic for me is that I'm having to grade term papers. Yeah. I had about 115 of those turned in over the Thanksgiving break. And I don't grade stuff at home. Like, when I'm at home, I don't grade papers. I don't check my work email. Okay, I'll lie. I try not to check my work email. Occasionally, I'll check my work email. And then I'll get, very sad. Also, hey, Moose. Hey, Joey, good to see you. You still get the feeling of turning in term papers every time you send an email with results for an analysis, right? Yeah. Yeah, students don't stop emailing. So when I got to work yesterday morning, I had not been at work in 9 days. And I had 60-something emails of people that were sending me stuff over the break. And I tell my students, I don't check my email when I'm at home. I just don't. I don't. And, I missed the exam 3 weeks ago. Can I do something for extra credit? Yeah. And see, that's the thing, too. All of the extra credit work that I had allowed to happen was due over the Thanksgiving holidays. So I had papers, I had exams, I had 2 sections of quizzes, I had 4 sections of primary source review, and I had 6 classes worth of extra credit to grade. And I'm still not done with it, by the way. I've been grading papers basically for 2 days solid, and I still have probably about 115 to 120 individual papers to mark. And my online classes officially end on Friday, and I have to have the grades for those finished and turned in by Monday next at about 10 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. And you still have dreams of, oh no, I forgot my class schedule and haven't been going to class all semester. Now I have to do the exam. Oh no! Oh no! I know exactly what you mean, Moose. Panic! So this is Adventures in History, where we grouse about everything, and I tell anecdotes about my time as a teacher, and talk about how crazy things are. But we do other things too, like talk about history and have fun with each other, and make bad jokes. But mostly it's just me grousing. So if you haven't appreciated the last 5 minutes or so, you might as well just go ahead. I'm just picking. Please don't run away. We'll eventually get to the history. We just sort of had this banter, as always, at the beginning of a stream. And, as always, my nose is already itching, and I really do sort of feel like I'm a crackhead or something, because, my nose just immediately starts itching when I stream, and I do not know why. Hey, Emmy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Emmy, I might, I don't know yet, depending on how things go, I might be talking to you about some emotes if you are interested. I don't know if I have the wherewithal at the moment to purchase those because, the last time I got a Twitch check, the computer also crapped out and I had to buy new parts for the computer. So, but I've got all these new emote spots open and I have no artistic skill whatsoever. So, might need to talk with you about that, but that's later. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is good in your neck of the woods. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this is Avengers in History on Tuesday nights. Usually every other Tuesday we do viewer request streams. So this is a stream topic that that got chosen by the viewers. And this is something that people had, put in the chat that they wanted to talk about, and then we voted on it, and everybody chose the Second Crusade, which is what we're going to be talking about. And at the end of the stream tonight, we will have another poll to see what the viewers want to listen to and what they want to cover and how they want to go about this stuff. So if you were not here for the first Crusade, never fear. Everything that you need to know will be self-contained in the discussion tonight. You do not have to worry about not being in the weeds. At the end of tonight's stream, we will pick the third Crusade or else. I figured that might be a topic that would potentially get thrown in there, and I actually kind of debated about whether or not I wanted to let it go in. But at the end of the day, it really is viewer request. It's not what Shane thinks the viewers want to hear. It's viewer request. So if it comes up, it will come up, and people may or may not vote for it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get there, and we'll figure it out eventually. So yeah, let's pick up where we need to start. And we're going to clearly be talking about our world over here. And specifically, we're going to be looking at sort of this larger zone right here where so much of ancient history happens, right? Just so much stuff in this circle, like right around in here. That's where we're going to be. And to begin with, we need to look at these things. These things are the Crusader states. So at the end of the First Crusade, there were these states that were territories conquered by European nobles that were taken over by Europeans. So these countries, the County of Edessa, the Principality of Antioch, and the Kingdom of Jerusalem, I know it says County of Tripoli here, but that's sort of loosely associated with Kingdom of Jerusalem. These are European-run countries. The majority of the people that live there are, of course, going to be Muslim people. There are Christians and Jewish people in this region as well, but the vast majority of this area is not European Christians. So what was it? Well, it's a bit of a tricky situation to describe, but essentially that area had been held by Christians back under the Byzantine Empire during the expansion of the original Rashidun Caliphate. This area had fallen to an Islamic country and had been held by Muslims for the next 400 years until we get to the First Crusade in 1092, and then was subsequently taken over by Europeans and ruled as individual countries. This won't have long-lasting territorial issues at all. Yeah, that's a fair statement. And I said 1092, and I mean 1096. I don't know what I'm talking about for the First Crusade. I apologize there. So what's up with these Crusader states? Well, they are isolated. They are Christian. They are mostly being run by lower level nobles from the big countries over in Europe, especially Normans and French. Now, there are some connections through marriage to the Byzantine Empire, to the British nobility, and to the German nobility, but mostly the French and the Normans are going to be, and here distinguishing the fact that Normans controlled part of what is modern day France, but were not necessarily the French that you think of when you think of French. So they're out of the middle of nowhere. They don't really have a lot of support. Their closest Christian friend is the Byzantine Empire. And the Byzantine Empire at that time ruled basically just here in the Balkan Peninsula. And that's about as much as it had. There's some territory that it has over here in what we refer to as Anatolia, but it was mostly here in the Balkans. 10-ish something number after the Big Bang, but before Reagan was president. Yeah, that's the general area, David. Somewhere in there, right? So one of the reasons why these states had been able to exist in the first place is because of the disunity of the larger Muslim world. Now, if we look down here in Egypt, there is a Muslim government called the Fatimid Caliphate that had taken over. Here in central Anatolia, we have something called the Sultanate of Rum. I need to grab my tea. I was unable to make myself tea because I was running out of time. My lovely wife has made me tea, so I'm going to get my tea. Thank you, baby. Oh, yes. Tea it is. I need to straighten everything back up. I keep moving all my chair and stuff around, and it's rolly chairs and trying to make sure that it doesn't scratch the floor and all of that fun stuff. You know how it goes. Anyway, so there are all of these individual small, mostly Arab and Turkish-run caliphates, or people that are claiming to be caliphates. Perhaps they're actually better referred to as emperors, especially the Seljuks, or maybe they're emirs, specifically talking about here the Emirate of Damascus. Normans are all you think of when you think of the French. Who's Norman? S and U are one. S and U are on either side of your beverage. S and U. It's a big ol' ceramic cup. I don't know where S and U... It says Ski Lodge on this side. It says Ski Lodge Mountain Resort. I don't know. That's very hot. Whew. 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 Anyway, the reason that the Europeans had been so successful in the First Crusade was because they had capitalized on a bunch of smaller Turkish and Arab caliphates fighting amongst each other. There was not a unified force in the region. And they were able to sort of slide in between the cracks and take this territory when everybody was fighting amongst themselves. And the reason that they had held on to it was mostly because, again, there was a lot of this disunity. But after the First Crusade, we're going to see the rise of a new leader in the Muslim world. And I've got so many windows open. Let me close windows. You go away. I don't need you. I don't need you. What do I need? I need this one. Aha. This guy's name is Nur ad-Din. Nur ad-Din. All right, and he is this guy. If we look at him, this is actually him right here. Now, I know that this is horrible, kind of what you might consider very rudimentary art, but let's remember that European art from the medieval period is not particularly the world's best when it comes to things like perspective and shadow. And baby things are just smaller versions of the big things. Anyway, this is a large battle. Here we see a crusader has chopped this guy up. This is one of the Seljuk Turks. And this is Nur ad-Din fleeing from these crusaders. Look how scary they are. They all look like battle bots. They have that nice big bucket helmet of the Europeans. So this guy is Nur ad-Din, and this is actually one of the few images that we have of him that's contemporary, and it really just looks like a guy with a beard. Look, it's a guy, and he's got a beard. I'm Nur ad-Din. Anyway, he is going to be very successful in uniting a lot of these disparate tribes. Yeah, none shall pass. His father is this guy named Zengi, and Zengi does a lot of work in unifying some of this area. And Nur ad-Din comes in sort of as the second wave of unifying power. And what's going to end up happening here is that the Seljuk horse archery power is going to be effectively used to create a new sort of unified world that's surrounding most of the Crusader states. Babies,
Friends,
Romans,
Romans,
countrymen,
lend me your ear.
Uncle Bill.
To bury Caesar, not to praise him.
Uncle Bill, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Glad you could stop by. Hope you're having a good one. TTTQRSTUV. Ah, I see. Got it now. None shall pass, indeed. Babies in their art are more terrifying than those battle bots. Yes, Figment, that is true. Babies in medieval art are basically just tiny little humans. Those are Power Ranger Crusaders. Pink, yellow, and blue. I think there's a guy in the very back that's the white Power Ranger. I don't know, maybe. Maybe if they all get together, they form like a cross-shaped Voltron. Who knows? But the thing about Nur ad-Din is that he is successful in putting together a group of people. This is going to go on to be referred to as the Zingid Dynasty. Zingid Dynasty. And the territory that he manages to put together looks like this. And I realize that this is a very poor map, and I do apologize. It is not easy to find maps. And you all know that I love maps. But if you look here, this is actually a little bit later on, and we'll talk about what happened to Edessa, which sat right here in just a second. But if you can tell, guess what? It doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, this is what's going to end up being put together by first Zengi and then his son Nur ad-Din. And these are going to be very, very scary individuals, especially if you are in the Crusader states or if you are in the Byzantine Empire. Because the Byzantine Empire had hoped that they would be able to reconquer all of this territory that had been lost in the subsequent Muslim, or the previous Muslim invasions, right? What video game is that map room from? VGA World Battles. It's from a really old, really weird video game. So the emperor at the time is this guy. This is the Byzantine emperor. His name is John II. He's from the Komnenos family, so some people call him John II Komnenos. This is actually from a mosaic that is in the church Hagia Sophia. And I forgot to put on the adventure hat prior to showing the photo there of John Komnenos. But John Komnenos in Hagia Sophia, I've seen that. So here we go with the adventure hat fully engaged. This is a mosaic that had been put on one of the walls. It's on the sort of back upper floor of Hagia Sophia. Hagia Sophia, of course, is a very large church that was in the city of Constantinople, which was the capital of the Byzantine Empire. And John II had a very tumultuous relationship with the Crusader states. The Crusaders, according to the family that was ruling, had basically stolen all of this territory from the Byzantine Empire, according to agreements that they had sworn to a guy named Alexios Komnenos. They were going to return all of the territory that they took to the Byzantine Empire, and then these Normans and French guys didn't give it back. So the Byzantine Emperor is in a weird spot where he doesn't like the fact that these guys exist, but dealing with them as Christians is better than dealing with Nur ad-Din as a Seljuk Muslim. So Komnenos is in a weird spot where he doesn't like to give them aid unless it's really, really important. Like if they're maybe going to fall apart, he might send an army out or maybe send some boats with some supplies. But he's kind of rooting for their failure because he's trying to marshal enough strength together to get out over there and take this area back himself. And that's going to be kind of a tumultuous relationship. And then we're going to run into the really big problems. And the problems are going to start, if we go back over here, right here with this thing called the County of Edessa. If you look, Edessa was surrounded on 3 sides by Seljuk and Muslim forces. And it sticks out kind of in the middle. Now, it does touch the Armenian region right around here.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! Spartacus!
KP. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated for that subscription. Hats off. We screwed up the Crusades. Indeed. Okay, so Edessa sticks out here. It doesn't really have a lot of good access. The only way that it really had sea access was down this river that they didn't actually hold on to for very long. That runs to the Mediterranean, but that was sort of a messy relationship. Anyway, Edessa's in big trouble. And Edessa is going to start being kind of the target. Ooh, I didn't need to do all of that. I need to just do this. County of Edessa. Little bit out. There we go. Okay. It is the northernmost. It is exposed. The guy that is the ruler of Edessa is a guy named Jocelyn II. And I know you're like, isn't that a woman's name? It's French, so just let it go. So this is a big bad problem because in 1044, Nur-ad-Din is going to start pushing. 1144. 1144, Nur-ad-Din is going to start pushing against the County of Edessa. And he's going to start pushing really, really hard. Like, Betty? Isn't Betty a woman's name? Meh. I love that movie. I haven't watched that movie in so long. Yeah, Figment, if Mac and a Lab Coat were in chat, he would tell you exactly how much French messed stuff up. Anyway, not the French language, when we try to bring it into English, is messy because we are like, sometimes we're going to pronounce this the Latin way and sometimes we're not. Jane is a girl's name. Yeah, Jane was in Firefly, right? He had a cool hat. There we go. Lots of names that used to be considered guys' names are now girls' names. It just happens over time. Anyway, so Jocelyn II, he's sort of around, stuck up here. He ends up getting captured. He gets run out of the city of Edessa. So the County of Edessa is built around the city of Edessa. And Nur-ad-Din runs him out of the city. This is in 1145. And there are sort of multiple attempts to try to retake the kingdom. The kingdom of Jerusalem is going to try to help retake Edessa. The Byzantines are going to get involved a little bit. Jocelyn is going to end up marrying into the Byzantine family to try to bolster some support. But by the end of the day, he does end up getting released from captivity. He manages to get out. He manages to try to retake the city. He does retake the city in 1146, but he loses it again the same year and ends up subsequently getting killed. And this is going to be sort of the big wake-up call moment where the County of Edessa falls. Now, this is a big deal because that then puts, if we go back to our map, that puts the Principality of Antioch sort of as the new front line He didn't get assassinated. He just got killed in battle by the opponents. I guess. Okay, fine. Whatever. Joey's just itchy on the assassin trigger finger. So the Principality of Antioch is now the new sort of front line of the Crusader states. And the problem with that is mostly this guy here. This dude. This guy's name is Raymond of Poitou. Yep. And here's the deal. If you see the title for tonight, the title is Everybody Hates Raymond. And there's a reason for that. Raymond is a mid-level French noble that managed to get into this position as the Prince of Antioch through his family. And he's kind of abrasive, and he's not really somebody that a lot of people get along with. And just to be honest, nobody really wants to go help him very much. And when Nur ad-Din starts pushing against Raymond of Poitou, this is going to be kind of messy. But what's actually going to start the ball rolling is not the imminent threat of the Principality of Antioch falling. It's going to be when Edessa is no more, and then the Kingdom of Jerusalem goes, hey, we need help from the West. And they ask for help from this guy, whose name is Eugene III. Here we go. This is Eugene III. He's the Pope. Pope Eugene. And Pope Eugene is going to go, yeah, you know what? This is actually a pretty big deal. And Raymond is like, you're going to come help me? And Eugene is kind of like, we're going to go restore the Principality of Antioch. I'm sorry, we're going to go restore the county of Edessa. We're not, Antioch, whatever. I mean, he's not quite so flippant, but nobody really likes Raymond. The local people don't like him. The people that he's ruling don't like him. A lot of the people that are sort of his vassals inside of the county, the principality itself, don't like him. The people that are in France that are his extended family don't really like him. Everybody hates Raymond. Anyway, so Eugene is going to say, yeah, okay, we need to call for a new crusade. And so the call goes out in 1046. And Eugene officially sanctions the crusade. And he says, we need to start building some support. So he picks a few people that are sort of going to be his preachers and his mouthpieces. And he starts sending them out to all of these different big cities throughout Europe and starts calling for a new crusade. We need to go back and we need to defend the Crusader states. We need to restore the county of Edessa. We need to build everything back up, do everything the right way. And there are going to be some pretty big named people that jump on board here. I'm going to have to get rid of some people to fit other people. Are you not entertained? Steve! What up, Steve? Hello, peoples. Hey, everybody that's in Steve's chat. You probably just watched Steve play a video game and maybe do some Darkest Dungeon, but if you were around about an hour ago, I was the guy doing all of the weird rambling stuff about sociology and history facts. Yeah, that's me. Hey, Nix, good to see you. You tried Stone Shard? It was fun. Awesome stuff. I've never played that before. If you are not familiar, Steve Sketches is a really great artist that has a very big love for helping people out. If you are aspiring to be an artist, you might throw some stuff in his Discord and give him a follow because he's very generous with his time. He's very helpful, and he's kind of all-around educated dude. We had lots of good conversation today about lots of varied topics. If you like hearing me sort of jabber randomly about things, you'll appreciate Steve's chat too. We'll probably play it some more. I'd get a kick out of it. Cool. But yeah, so hey everybody from Steve's chat. If you don't actually know me, my name is Shane. I teach college for a living. I have advanced degrees in history and sociology. I've studied religion and archaeology and then geography and a whole bunch of other ologies and stuff like that, anthropology. So we just hang out here on stream and we talk history, but we do it in a goofy way and we kind of make fun of the weird looking people in the past. And tonight we're talking about the Second Crusade. The Second Crusade actually just got called, so you've got impeccable timing. The Pope called for crusade, and then here comes Steve with a giant raid of 40 people, which is appropriate because, you know, God wills it, right? Deus Vult. How much did you miss, Badbird? Not so much. We've been going for about 30 minutes, but as always, I usually just kind of, you know, blow and go for about 15 minutes before we get started. Mostly just intros of places and people. Yeah, we're sort of getting into the good stuff right now. We have other people in the chat that I should shout out. David Peterson. You should go follow David. He's a great dude. Does all sorts of art stuff on chat, on his channel. He is the author and illustrator of Mouse Guard, if you've ever heard of that. Go follow Batbird, who is an art streamer, sometimes game streamer as well. Variety streamer, perhaps. Lovely individual. Does great stuff. You'll have a good time. All sorts of good topics pop up in that chat, too. We've also got Color by Emmy. If you've seen my intro screen, or if you appreciate the layout that we have around us here, and if you like a little animated Shane that's down there in the corner, that's all Color of Emmy. She designed basically my layout for me and did little animated Shane down there and did my load screen, or my coming soon intro screen. Here, I'll show it to you for just a second. Isn't that cool? That's Emmy, so you should go follow Emmy. She does that kind of stuff. You take it that I am an Age of Empires fan. I do quite like Age of Empires. Dude of Dudes. It's a cool game. I really do like it. This right here, though, is Google Earth. If you've ever played with it, it's a really cool tool. It's basically Google Street View of the entire world. And I use this a lot because I like pointing at things when we come to specific things of history or portions of history or evidence of history or so on. It's not all nice to just say, look, it's right there. So yeah, we're talking about the Second Crusade. Pope Eugene III, who is this guy, just said, hey, we need to go do a crusade to help out our Christian buddies over in the Holy Land because there's a guy that's attacking them, and the guy that's attacking them is this guy right here, whose name is Nur ad-Din. So one of the people that answers the call to crusade is the leader of the Holy Roman Empire. This is a region that mostly has what we would call today Germany as part of its territory, but the Holy Roman Empire was pretty big. It sat roughly right here and has parts of what we would call the Netherlands, parts of what we would today call France, what we would call today Austria. Basically, this larger region right here was the Holy Roman Empire. And the guy that was running it was a guy named Conrad III, who is the guy that we just typed in. He looks like this. He's got the piercing gaze. Conrad looks deep into your soul and asks you, will you come to crusade with me? Or if not, don't you just like the really cool, I don't know, what is this called? Lettering that we've got going on up here? Conradus Rex. King Conrad. Yeah. Who doesn't enjoy pointing at things, right? Right? I pointed at all sorts of stuff. Like this and like that and like this over here and like that down there and yeah. Just one assassin so far, but fear not, you are ready for it. Shane might claim it wasn't even an assassination, but it better be... Should I just have one for, like, when a king dies? Because he didn't get assassinated. He got killed. Well, I mean, I don't know. Anyway. You answered no. You will farm the fields. Thanks, though. Yeah, I don't think I'll go crusading. It just seems like it takes a while. So Conrad III jumps on board. He is the Holy Roman Emperor, but we also have Louis VII. Louis VII is the King of France, and he's this guy. Look how cool that guy is. Like, clearly he and this guy are not the same person. Clearly, no. Like, and this person over here is clearly not just sort of the same person as that. And these people aren't the same person. These people really don't have a lot of specificity when it comes to their faces. Everybody kind of looks the same. But you can tell that he's king. He must be a king. How do you know? Well, if you know the rest of that, you'll know why he's the king. But this is Louis VII, and this is him on his horse going off on crusade, meeting some Christian people from the Holy Land that are blessing him so that he will be successful on crusade. He's not covered in poo. That is accurate. Thank you, KP. You feel like crusading is something that you either do when you have all of the money or none of the money, and I'm somewhere in between. Right? Like, you either go if you're Peter the Hermit and you're just leading a horde of poor people over to the Holy Land to get massacred, or you're super duper rich and you can leverage your farms to get money to arm up all of your knights and go over to the Holy Land. Not even a chonky horse. That king must have been poor. Louis VII was actually one of the more powerful kings inside Europe at the time. Same face syndrome, right? They just all sort of look exactly the same. So we have two kings that are going to go on crusade. And the Pope, Eugene, gets really excited about this because like kings can motivate all of these people. They can also kind of command people. You know, like you weren't really supposed to command people to go on crusade, but you could really use your royal influence to kind of like go, man, it would be great if you could go on crusade. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's a tax break for the next 5 years. Wouldn't it be great? This is a big deal because with kings on board, you're going to be able to motivate a lot of people that normally would not have been able to. So this is sort of like celebrity endorsements for your cause, right? You know, there's going to be like an Air Louis line of Nikes that's going to come out. So like Nike armor with the little French fleur-de-lis on it, you know, it's designer stuff and it's really only for the collectors. And technically you're not supposed to wear the armor. You're just supposed to put it on the mannequin in your house and look at it. If you wear it, it like destroys like half the value immediately, right? I don't understand collecting shoes. That's not my thing though. If you do it, you're a sneakerhead. Awesome. As long as you're not like murdering people, you can spend your money on shoes all day long. I don't care. It's just not my thing. So here's the deal. With kings going on crusade, you can't just go on crusade immediately, right? A king can't just pack up and leave the kingdom in a day, right? You had a coworker who had just all the Air Jordans. Like, he had all the Air Jordans. Okay, I know that people do. The new ones are Yeezys, the Kanye shoe. They're apparently very, very popular. I apparently know that from my students. Anyway, so the kings are going to have to make preparations, so they're not going to be able to go on crusade immediately. But here's an interesting thing about the Second Crusade. When the Pope calls for the crusade, the wording used is basically, we're here to fight as Christians against non-believers to establish realms for Christianity, right? And it just so happens that there are other people inside of Europe that are fighting non-believers. And since the Pope has made a crusade, why can't we just kind of tack stuff on, right? You told him if Michael Jordan died, he'd be a millionaire overnight. You just want all of the books? Is that too much to ask? Yeah, I mean, where do you put all of the books, though? Right? Are you getting all of the ebooks, or are you getting all of the physical books? Because all of the physical books, that's just, there aren't enough shelves. I mean, there just really aren't enough shelves. And after a while, like, you line them up this way, and then you stack them on top, and then you kind of like put them flat on the front, and then it's just stacks on the floor, and Nick's like, shh, 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 shh. Who needs shelves? Who needs shelves? I don't currently have stacks of books on the floor. I do have books in boxes, and I have several boxes of books.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! Spartacus!
Kyle, thank you so much for that subscription. And welcome back to the adventure. And welcome back to being Spartacus, right? All of the physical books, and you'll make a few libraries, right? Thank you for understanding my mentality. It depends on, are you getting one title per, or one copy per title, or all of the titles? That's a fair question. Kyle, how was San Diego Comic-Con? Is it done now? I don't actually know when it was done. Is it still going on, or was it last weekend? I don't know. I don't have the opportunity to go to those things. They're so far away. I'm on the other side of the country. Anyway, so we've called for Crusade. Kings are signing up, but they're like, okay, can you give me like a little bit? I need to make preps. I need to get the army together. I need to put people in charge of things before I go. I need to set my affairs in order in case I die, because, Crusade. So there are a couple of other interesting areas that are going to sort of pop into the Second Crusade world. And one of those is going to get named the Windish Crusade. Now, what the devil is that? Well, there were people up in this region here, right around here, who were called the Windish people. And this is in what is modern-day Poland, parts of what is modern... Well, here I can just show you this stuff, because, you know where all these things are, right? But, Poland and Belarus and Ukraine. So this larger region right here, these would have been your your Western Slavs, the Western Slavic groups. And many of these Western Slavic groups were still very much not Christians. And a lot of people, especially in the Holy Roman Empire, were like, hey, if the Pope has said we can go fight non-Christians and expand the realm of Christianity, can we go fight the Windish? And so they send a word to the Pope like, look, it's going to take a little while to go over to the Holy Land, but while we're at it, can we go kill the Poles and bring them to Christianity through our killing? And the Pope's like, yeah, why not? Do it. So the Windish Crusade sort of actually gets sanctioned as part of the Second Crusade. San Diego Comic-Con was just Friday through Sunday. You only went one day. Okay, cool. You want to hoard books in peace. Book hoarding. You arrived at just the right time, right? Where are you going to get the storage space for that? Again, that's the problem, right? So the Windish Crusade is sort of a side part of the Second Crusade. There's also what we call the Iberian War, or you might have heard this by its Spanish name, the Reconquista. So around this time, people over here in Spain had decided, you know what? We also want to push out Muslim invaders that have been here now for about 350 years or so. We would like to also get sanctioned by the Pope to mount holy wars against Muslims here in the Iberian Peninsula. And the Pope was like, sounds like a plan. It's officialized. So the Reconquista here mostly is going to start with a few kingdoms up here in the northern part of Spain, especially the Kingdom of Leon and the Kingdom... I got an itch. And I was also going to make a joke of Kings of Leon. But I think they actually pronounce themselves Kings of Leon. The band that sings, you know that I could use somebody. Anyway, those people, joke. I missed it. The timing was bad. But you have some of these Christian kingdoms up here in the northern part of Spain. They're going to start trying to push out the Muslim powers that had controlled Spain since the Umayyad dynasty had taken over. This is why there's so much interesting overlap of culture in Spain today with things like the Alhambra and such. Because there was a large Muslim population there for hundreds of years. No one expects the Spanish Reconquista. It's okay, Shane, I understood. I appreciate you, Bad Bird. That's probably the only one of their songs that I know one more of them, but I don't think I could sing "Sex Is on Fire" in my stream and still be PG-13. I don't know, maybe it was played on the radio. I don't necessarily want to sing that at someone either, though, because that gets kind of creepy and weird, so we'll just leave that one alone, right? Okay, so we tack on the Reconquista, or the Iberian War. We also tack on the Windish Crusade. The Second Crusade is sort of getting side tangents going, but eventually, by the time that Louis and Conrad get together, they're going to be at a little bit of a difference of opinion. And I say this as a bit of a euphemism. Conrad and Louis hate each other's guts. And the Pope did not necessarily designate one of them being the leader. He was not really super interested in trying to wade into the middle of that. What he said was, Conrad will lead a German army, and Louis will lead a French army, and other people from other areas like the Normans or the British, or at that point they weren't British, the Normans or the English or some of the Spanish, or maybe some Greek knights that wanted to sign on. They could sort of pick whichever leader they wanted to follow. Here's the problem, though. He tells them, Conrad and Louis, you've got to get along. You need to work together. You need to work in conjunction. I'm not putting one of you above one of the other, but you need to work together. We're not fighting for Germany or France. We're fighting for God. And Conrad and Louis are both like, that sounds like a great plan. And then they hate each other's guts. All right. Wait, how did that song go again? Kyle, you know how that song goes pretty well, I would think. French and German armies marching close to each other, and nothing could possibly go wrong. That's never gone wrong. Get along together? Yeah, get along, right? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The Germans under Conrad decide, we're going to march, and we're just going to march all the way there. And they march basically from the Holy Roman Empire this way. And they march through what is, at that time, the Kingdom of Hungary, which really didn't care very much for the Germans. And along the way, there are some Hungarian nobles that decide to sign up with Conrad to go on crusade, and he's like, oh yeah, and by the way, I think that you're probably the right ruler of Hungary, and it gets all this dynastic mess stirred up inside of Hungary because there was a fight over who was the legitimate king of Hungary. And along the way, they decide to loot a lot of things. They kill a whole bunch of people that were Jewish, and when they finally get to Constantinople, they don't find John II. They find this guy, whose name is Manuel I, who is the new Byzantine emperor. Conrad. So we're just going to march the long way through Alsace-Lorraine. Other direction. We're going to march the long way through basically Bavaria, down through the Danube region, down through Romania, down through all of this territory to get down here. So Alsace-Lorraine is over here. It's a long way to go. He has very tiny hands. I don't know, does he? Yeah, he does. He has very, very tiny hands. And let's remember, again, medieval stuff. So they got all of the detail. They only commissioned the artist for a certain number of hours. And he spent like half of the hours doing the face and then realized, oh crap, I've got to finish. And then did everything else in about 15 minutes. So that's why he has little baby hands. Relatable. Emmy, I don't mean to expose you. Sorry, I'm laughing so hard I clicked the wrong button. Anyway, so again, this is Manuel the First. I feel attacked. You mean the armor perspective is hard? It is, right? You got to get all like the bends of the body, and the torso is a cylinder and your shoulders are cylinders. You understand this in your soul? It's a really decent face though. It's got some decent shading going on. The nose sticks out. It's got some lighting effects. Everything else is just like. So here's the thing. Hey, Wee Potato. Hello. Hey, you Lumpy. You're going to start a tiny hand painting stream. No, Matt, whenever you decide to watch Tiny Hands, please let me know. I will totally watch you paint tiny hands. I would totally watch that. We have 2 more great streamers in the room with us. We have Lumpy Dragon Potato, who is a Minecraft crafter extraordinaire with an amazing image-based mind that can see things in 3 dimensions before they're even built, and you should totally go watch his stream in Minecraft. It's fascinating. And you should go follow Visual Nomad, who has now sworn to do Tiny Hand Painting stream, and I'm going to hold the Visual Nomad to that. Because, Nomad, more tiny hands means less tiny work. Right? You're sitting here doing your best not to get hyped up right now, starting to get into one of your favorite areas of history. Hey, there we go, dude. There we go, dude. Medieval art master study stream. Yeah, tiny hands, really, really prominent nose ridges. Anyway, so Conrad gets over to the Byzantine Empire and he's like, we are here. We are here. And Manuel goes, I don't like you. I don't trust you. You're more of those people that are going to show up and try to steal territory from us. And Conrad is like, no, we're good Christian people, and you're good Christian people, and we're here to fight the bad guys, and you should help us out, and you should get us over to Anatolia, and we're going to get over to Anatolia, and you have all these supporters in Anatolia. And Manuel's like, not really. But, I mean, okay, if you really want to go, you can go. So Manuel lets them across and gives them a little bit of support. And here's where they go really wrong. Louis is not with Conrad. Louis and his army are not even halfway there yet. And Conrad's like, we're going to wait for the French? Nah. We'll just go conquer everybody, and by the time the French get here, we'll have all the land, and then we'll just kind of give the finger to the French, right? Because that's the way that it works, right? Streams for 4 hours, only gets to finish the line art and the torso. Stick figure anatomy for everything else. Yeah, like the stick fingers, it's like they all have 3 fingers on their hand. Yeah, I think I'm 3 streams in on this piece. I'll just say done. Close enough. I'm getting close to introducing you to this whole thing. Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah. Because, I mean, history... So, I'll give you a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look here, dude. I love history. And I don't think that history has to be super boring. I sort of feel like the fact that history gets this bad rap comes from a lot of people that end up teaching it that aren't interested in the subject. They're sort of there to draw a paycheck, or maybe they're a coach trying to teach history in high school if you're in America. And history sort of gets put on the back burner. But it really is kind of funny stuff. And, I mean, human beings are humans, and we do weird things, and we make decisions based on the same stuff. And ancient people are really just people. They're really just people. And they want the same things that we do, and they make the decisions that they make for the same sort of reasons that people today do. And Conrad was just kind of being a greedy little bugger and was just like, I'm going to go take all of the land and I'm invincible because I'm Conrad, right? At least I know where it all comes down to when you come back to it, right? Pretty much. So Conrad is going to get into Anatolia. And again, Anatolia is this region right here. We would call it today Turkey, the modern day country of Turkey, which sits right here. And he decides to not only invade without waiting for Louis, he then decides that he's going to split his army in half. Because, you know, what's better than half of a Crusader army? 2/4 of a Crusader army. Because that makes sense. So he takes command of one branch. So again, this is Conrad III. And we have another guy that takes command of the other side, whose name is Otto of Friesland. dun 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 dun. Thanks for the follow. Much appreciated, and welcome to the adventure. Did I spell that right? No, I didn't. It's Freising. Otto of Freising. I'm saying this as a person. You're going to introduce in a little bit your name. Oh, your name? Okay. Is your name Baldwin? Is your name Raymond? Is your name Nur ad-Din? We've already talked about Nur ad-Din. We've talked about Eugene. Your name might be Otto. Otto of Freising. Perhaps Otto von Freising. Yeah, anyway. So, Conrad splits the army. Half of the army is going to go attack this city called Iconium, which was the capital of this Muslim state called the Sultanate of Rome. And half of the army under Otto was going to basically go down the coastline of the Mediterranean here and take all of the big cities along the way. You know, just sort of open up the ports for the Byzantine boats or the German boats or whomever was going to come by. And here's what happens. Guess what? Both prongs, they get beaten pretty bad. Pretty badly. Conrad's forces attack, and the Turkish archers, who are on horseback, they have this great tactic where they fake like they're running away. So you show up with battle, they line up on their side, you charge at them, and they go, "Oh no, look how bad the knights are. We'll gallop away in the opposite direction." But what they're doing is they're basically circling around you, and they're going to attack you from all sides with their bows that shoot further than you. And the Turkish bow at this time is particularly powerful. It is a recurve composite bow that can shoot, there was a reconstruction of one that somebody made a few years ago, a modern reconstruction, so we don't know if it's necessarily 100% accurate. But it shot an arrow like 400 yards, which is a lot of meters. I can't do the conversion in my head. It's a mess. It's a big mess. You're a Byzantine boy, so you're Manuel. We've already talked about Manuel. We've also seen John Comnenos, John II, and Manuel the First. We showed both of them. Manuel was the guy with the tiny hands. All the Crusades were quite 400 yards is 365.76 meters. Thank you, Capacitor. And hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Should have called in the F-15s for an airstrike, right? Anyway, so Conrad gets suckered into this trap, and the Turks just beat the junk out of him. And his cavalry get almost completely wiped out. Conrad gets wounded and is barely able to slink his way back towards Constantinople. So Conrad, who's attacking a city called Iconium, which is right about here, is slowly going to start trying to get his way back. His army had been mostly wrecked, and he was really in bad shape. Otto is similarly defeated. Instead of killing Otto's army down here on the coastline, instead what the Turks are going to do is capture them and they sold most of them into slavery. Some thousands of people. That is a very respectable distance. They probably weren't fighting from that far. At this point, they had not completely abandoned the sort of short-range raid in and shoot specific targets. They did have multiple tactics, though. One of them was sort of the big hail of arrows, where you just sort of shoot up in a big arch and it lands on the bad guy. The Turks were also very good, though, at riding in to semi-close quarters, somewhere between maybe 50 to 60 meters, but riding at speed and shooting you with the bow with such force, by the way, that these particular bows shot very, very powerfully. Could pierce some of the mail that would have been worn by the Crusaders. So this is pretty heavy stuff here. Anyway, both of the German armies get defeated. Otto does manage to sneak out, and the Byzantines at the time are in a bad spot because they had sort of put all their eggs in the basket of these Crusades, and Manuel I, who is the Holy Roman Emperor, he's going to be forced to sort of sign a treaty with the leader of the Sultanate of Rum, this guy named Murad I. And this is going to be a big deal because around this time, Louis's army shows up. So Louis then shows up at the Holy Land at Constantinople, and he's like, what's going on? And Manuel's like, yeah, so Conrad went ahead and invaded. I hope you don't mind. I tried to give them some support, but we've heard some good things. I think they're going to do okay. I think they're going to be fine. And Louis decides, okay, well, should we follow? And Manuel's like, yeah, because I don't like you, and you could, totally get out of my way. And what's really going to set the French off is that they find out that Manuel had made a treaty with the enemy. He had made a treaty with these Muslims. And there are people inside of Louis's army that say, you know what? Look, this guy, speaking of Manuel, he's not a good Christian. He's clearly not a good leader. We should just take Constantinople. Like, we should just take it. We've got an army. We're right here. We should just take Constantinople and kick him out and reclaim Constantinople for the Christian city that it should be instead of this Muslim lover. And Louis really does have to talk his army down. And he's like, look, this is not what we're here for. We're not supposed to kill Christians. We're not supposed to attack Christians. We have been placed under orders by the Pope, under vows to God that we are going to go fight the bad guys. The Byzantines aren't the bad guys. Even if they made a treaty with the bad guys, they are not the bad guys themselves. But here's what happens. Manuel starts hearing about this whole potentially taking of Constantinople thing, and he's like, leave. Just go. I don't want you around, and I'm not going to give you any support once you get over there. So when Louis gets his army into Anatolia, he doesn't really have a lot of supplies, and he doesn't really have an established supply line, so the French army starts raiding some of the Byzantine cities. And this did not go over very well with Manuel. At all. At all. And along the way, somewhere right around here or so, Conrad and the very few remains of his army meet up with Louis. And Louis's like, what are you doing back here? I was told that you had, gone to beat up the bad guys. And Conrad was like, yeah, here's the deal. I got shot. I feel like garbage. I'm going to go back to Constantinople. The bad guys are really bad. I hope you do better. God be with you. But you can take the few people that I have left. I'll put them under your command. I'm going to go back to Constantinople, and I'm going to heal up. And if I feel better in a little bit, I might come back and meet you. Just send me a text and let me know where you're going to be, and I'll try to meet up with you, right? So at this point, Louis is really, really upset because he's not getting support from the Byzantines, who were supposed to be friendly. He's not getting the army that Conrad had because a lot of the army of Conrad was dead. And he's still over here in Anatolia, surrounded by bad guys with no real support. And he's like, what the devil am I going to do? Well, he starts trying to march down the coastline. Basically, he says, okay, if we do the thing that Otto was supposed to do, and maybe if we get some of these cities down here along the coast, this will encourage the Byzantines to help us, maybe. What year are we in? At this point, we are at 1147. So 1147. and we're going to start moving, right? So we're going to move down the coast, and what it turns out is it's really, really tough to do this. As an army that doesn't have any support in enemy territory, they don't really understand the lay of the land. They don't really know where the roads are. They don't really understand where the water sources are, the food sources are. So they're kind of just like wandering around hoping. And they get down here to the southern coast of Mediterranean, and they're like, oh, so look, there's no way we're marching. There's no way we're marching all the way over here. And Louis was trying to get to the city of Antioch, which sat right here. Antioch, again, being the Principality of Antioch, where Raymond was. Not that Louis cared for Raymond very much, but they were both French. Dude, what are we... What you're going to have to give me something, because I could guess like every Byzantine emperor previous. Like, was it Alexius? Was it Baldwin? Was it no, you probably, I don't know if you're named Baldwin, right? You're a Byzantine guy. Let's see. Constantine. I'm trying to think of all the Byzantine rulers around this time. It was really mostly just John and then Manuel. Previous before that was Alexius Comnenus. Oh yeah. So 482 to 565. 482 to 565. Nobody ruled that long. That's the rule of several different people. That is going to be. So we're talking about AD. That includes the reign of Justinian, the reign of Justin, Leo, Anastasius, 482 in the east, 476. That's I don't know which one was Ding. Cryo! What up, Cryo? How you doing? For those of you that do not know, please do go give a good follow to Cryomera. One of the more lovely Twitch streamers as a person. I feel weird about saying that. Like, lovely person. Because I feel kind of weird. Like, anyway. Cryo is an awesome streamer, does art stuff. One of the original OG supporters of the channel. One of the reasons that I'm here is because of gigantic raids from people like Cryo. Much love. Hope you're doing well. You did it. You're here, but you don't have any good band jokes. You're named after Justin. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the brain can pull out the names, right? It's just back in time. You just go back in time. Anyway, so... yeah, I'm doing okay. Doing well. I am missing my spot. Here we go. So Louis, he gets down to the coastline and he's like, all right, we got to get to Antioch, but there's no way we're marching. Like, we are not marching this whole distance. It's just not going to work. So he has to get ships, and they sail over to Antioch. And it's like, hey, we're here. And the image, by the way, that we saw earlier, this is Louis here in the blue, clearly followed by every single person in this crowd who is basically just a clone of Louis. So this is Louis the 7th, and this is Louis the 8th, and this is Louis the 9th, and this is Louis the 10th. That might not be Louis, but this is Louis the 11th. There's another guy. Yeah, it's all the same guy. I got really good at drawing one face, Mom, and I just drew it every time. Shout out to the rest, Huey and Dewey. Indeed. Yeah, the original Justin is dead by about 600 years at this point. Justin was a good king, though. Justin the First was a good emperor. Justinian was a good emperor as well, one of the better Byzantine emperors that there ever was. Unfortunately, Justin II was not so great. Justin II went bat crap crazy during a war with Persia and started barking like a dog and literally tried to bite his attendants. Had a full-out mental breakdown. Full-out mental breakdown while invading Persia, and had to basically give up the throne. Why do I get quieter when I show the picture? Probably because I have things tweaked a little bit differently here. Was that any better? I turned the volume up a little bit. Anyway, so this is Louis, and this is him meeting... this is Raymond, everybody's favorite Raymond here. Raymond of Poitiers, who is the Prince of Antioch. He is looking at the screen. And, yeah, I'm looking... I should have my microphone directly in front of me, but I don't because I'm a dum-dum. I have it slightly off to the side. So when I look at my pictures, I also kind of turn my head a little bit. It's just a mess. It's a foul. I can kind of try to even it out here. I apologize. So it's like a commercial sometimes when you change the channel and the commercials are just like 18 times louder. Anyway, so they get to Antioch, and Raymond is very excited. He's like, oh, look, a Crusader army. You're here to help me. You're here to reestablish my boundaries. You're here to get everybody happy. We're going to be great. You're going to be great. On that note, my mic is a bit hot now. It can't be hot. It's not any hotter than it was because I actually just turned it down. Shayna's a bit hot. I just turned my mic on this setting down a little bit, so it can't be louder than it was, unless I'm talking like right at it, and that's a big problem. So then the picture screen is way down. Perhaps I don't know how it can be down though, because it's at the same setting, and I haven't actually changed the volume on the microphone itself. So unless OBS just decides to treat the same audio source differently in two windows, I don't know what's up. But it might just very well be that, because OBS is funky and does weird stuff like that all the time. But it's free, so I'm not going to complain too much. Because OBS gremlins aren't a thing. Right, yeah. Right? Okay, so Raymond gets really excited. Here's Louis, here's an army. We're going to do great things. We're going to reestablish the territory. We're going to expand the Principality of Antioch. You're French, I'm French, everybody's happy. And Louis is like, we're not really here to help you. In fact, I don't really like you very much. And this is actually sort of a weird thing. Louis had his wife with him. This lady named Eleanor. And Eleanor was actually Raymond's niece. Hey, JMR, good to see you. Hope you're having a good one. So, Louis the king was married to Raymond's niece, whose name is Eleanor, and he brought his queen with him on Crusade because, according to the historical sources, they were just super infatuated with each other. And they were so deep in love, and he couldn't bear to be without her for this whole time away, so he brought her with him. And there is at least one ancient source that gets a little bit scandalous right here and says that one of the reasons that Louis did not like Raymond is that Raymond was trying to seduce his own niece, and at one point even succeeded in convincing his niece to have sex with him. Now, this is considered a bit of a questionable source. We don't know if this is accurate. It could have just been made up to try to slander Louis, or it could have been made up to slander Raymond. Because again, everybody hates Raymond. Separation anxiety. Yeah, ancient tag rules. Exactly. Giggity, right? We don't know if that happened. Is that Eleanor from Civ 6? Maybe. I haven't played Civ 6. I have it, but my computer won't run it. It crashes. So. Yep, indeed. Hey! Right? So, we don't know if that happened or not. It may have happened, but if it did happen, it's pretty clear that Louis didn't care or didn't do anything about it, because he did not immediately kill Raymond. Which probably would have happened if the King of France found out that this guy had committed incest with his wife. Probably would have killed the dude, or at least I think so. Before we move on any further, I am remiss, and I should give JMR Killer the shout out. Go follow JMR and do some time hanging out in the gaming fort. JMR is a great streamer that does video games and has started building models. Sometimes Gundam models, but also other things. Recently built a model of the ship from One Piece, if you're familiar. But is a delightful streamer. It has a very positive energy, a real affable kind of air and atmosphere around. You'll have a good time. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. So go give JMR a follow and go hang out in the gaming fort. So what ends up happening? Well, there's another guy that gets involved. And the guy that gets involved is this dude. This dude's name is Baldwin, and he is the King of Jerusalem. The King of Jerusalem. So again, this is the Kingdom of Jerusalem. He is the King of Jerusalem. And Baldwin has some really interesting ideas about what the Crusader army should do. So he decides to go up and try to get an audience with Louis. And he's like, look. Raymond is going to tell you this garbage. You don't pay attention to him. He has no idea what he's doing. He's an idiot. Nobody really likes him. You should let me be your advisor. I'm the only one in this whole area that actually has an army. The little band of ruffians that Raymond has, they're kind of like half-paid nobodies. I'm the guy that can help you. And Louis is like, I don't know, man. We probably need to sit down with everybody and just kind of have a talk. And at that point, guess who shows back up? Well, it just happens that when Conrad finally made his way back to Constantinople with his wound and got healed up, he and Manuel managed to strike up a bit of a friendship. And their friendship was, man, we both hate Louis. And Conrad was like, hey, yeah, I hate Louis too. You hate Louis? And Manuel's like, yeah, he tried to get me kicked out of my own city. And Manuel was just like, hey, you don't like him, I don't like him. We should be friends. So Conrad had made friends with Manuel and had persuaded him to give him some ships and some supplies. And Conrad shows back up. And he's like, hey, I'm here to regain control of my army and be a part of the planning, because don't want anything cool to happen if I'm not here. Gandalf the Grey is not welcome here, my lord. Right, exactly. I name you Lathspell, which is ill news. Why can't we be friends? It just doesn't work. So they have a meeting, and they go down to a city called Acre. Wrong button. And they have what's called the Council of Acre. And this is in 1148. And when they get to Acre, they're like, okay. And at this council, by the way, it is Louis and Conrad and Baldwin and Raymond and representatives from the remains of the county of Edessa and some Byzantine folk. And they all decide, what are we going to do? And Raymond is like, you're here to restore my kingdom and protect my boundaries as the Principality of Antioch. And they're like, not really? And also stop saying that. You quit trying to restore the boundaries of the Principality of Antioch work. It's not going to work, right? We were sent here to restore the county of Edessa. Edessa's what fell We're here to put Edessa back up. And Louis and Conrad both said, why don't we just go take Edessa? Because that seems like the most logical thing to do, is to take the capital of what used to be this country, and then we can sort of, build it out from there. And Conrad's like, well, here's the thing. When Nur ad-Din, the guy that had taken over Edessa, when he took over the city, he pulled all the walls down. So if you go back and try to take that city, it's completely indefensible. You're not really going to be able to defend it because it has no more walls. And they're like, oh, that kind of sucks. So what should we do instead? And Baldwin is like, I have a plan. And the plan is Damascus. We should go take Damascus. And here's the thing about Damascus. It was a lot bigger. It had really big walls. And it was kind of like one of the centers of Nur ad-Din's power. And it was a big, big city that was a really tough target. But Baldwin had these ideas, like, if they take Damascus and then they hold that is going to free up my territory, and I'm going to be able to expand southward. So when I get the north all fixed up, I'm going to be able to go down here. And these new Crusaders are going to do my dirty work up here and get all my buddies back in power, and then I'm going to be able to benefit from it. Baldwin is really out for his own good right here. If they were wanting to be really cool, it should have been the Council of Hector. So Baldwin convinces them that Damascus is the way to go. And everybody's like, okay, let's go get Damascus. So they load up the entire army. So all of the Crusaders, whatever Baldwin can throw into the mix, whatever Raymond can throw into the mix, and they go up to Damascus. And they get there, and immediately upon getting there, the Seljuk army runs into the city, locks the gate, and sits down. And they're like, okay, come get us. And the Crusaders are like, we shall lay siege to the city. So this is the siege of Damascus. And they take up a pretty decent position outside the city to try to block it all off. But here's the thing. They don't have enough soldiers and troops to completely surround the city. So they have to kind of be strategic where they put their troops. Like on the places where it's easiest to get to the city, they have to kind of break them up so that they can be quick response if there is an attempt to break out of the city or if there's an attempt to resupply the city. And then Nur ad-Din shows up. And when Nur ad-Din shows up, they hear news of his coming. They're like, oh crap, the big bad guy is showing up, right? And he's bringing with him all of these armies. And they go, okay, so we should abandon our position and we should go to this more defensible position over here. And when he shows up, then he won't be able to attack us. Which makes sense, except for when you move to a defensible position, that means you also can't get out. And it also means that you can't block people from getting to the city, and the whole point of a siege is to lock the city down. So they move their forces, and they get attacked by Nur ad-Din, and it's just a complete failure. The battle goes absolutely horribly. Thousands of Crusaders die, and the kings have to basically sneak out while some of their soldiers are still on the battlefield. And they end up running all the way back down to Antioch, and Raymond is like, whew, great. Well, now the remains of the army can help me maintain my position here in Antioch. And Louis and Conrad go, we're going to Jerusalem. And they basically abandon Raymond and run down to Jerusalem. Damascus was the biggest city of the world at the time. Probably not. It was big, though. It would have probably been in the top 20 biggest cities in the world. Yeah, I feel like blockading the city requires blockading the city. Right? You go that way, I'll go home. Right. So Conrad and Louis both make it back to Jerusalem, and they're like, "Hey, man, Baldwin, your idea about attacking Damascus, that was a horrible friggin' idea. What are you even talking about?" And Baldwin was like, "You're not going to stay? You're going to go back?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're going to go back." And this is actually the end of the Crusade. This is all that happens. That there's really only just this one big battle at Damascus that is sort of the end and the beginning of the entire big fighting campaign. And it's an utter failure. Absolute failure. The Second Crusade manages to do basically no good. Spice World points to anyone who can name you go that way, I'll go home. Womp womp. Yeah, pretty much it's a womp womp. It's a giant womp womp. I can't name that movie. I feel like I've heard it, but I feel like I might also lose nerd points because I can't remember it. But yeah, that's the end of the Second Crusade. Now, you might go, oh, well, I mean, what happened to Raymond? Oh, it's from Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Figment, do you know what happened to Raymond? Do you want to know what happened to Raymond before you leave? I mean, if you have to go, you can go. I'll say it quickly. Raymond and the Principality of Antioch only last about another 6 months. And in 1149, Raymond gets captured by the Turks, and he gets beheaded. And they put his head in a little silver box, and they send it off to the guy that's the Caliph of Baghdad as a gift. So there's an actual assassination. Everybody hates Raymond. Yeah, nobody loves Raymond. Everybody hates Raymond. So in 1149, Raymond of Poitiers gets his head chopped off, put in a box, and the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. It's more like the Holy Head Grenade, but I don't know what would blow up if you threw it. Maybe smell? I don't know. That's a man's head. What's in the box, Nuruddin? What's in the box? Right? So the Second Crusade was utterly catastrophically bad. It failed at doing everything that it set out to do. It actually hurt relationships between the French and the Byzantines. It did build a relationship between the Germans and the Byzantines, but that was not going to last very long. And it ended up leading directly to the larger unification of the Zingid dynasty, because if they're going to keep sending over big armies, we need to unify to fight these big Christian armies. That's a man's head. Points to, I am lost, dude. I'm really good at movies that I've memorized and kind of trash everything else. And Kyle's like, Spice World? That's the token guess, right? Is it Spice World? I've actually seen Spice World, and it is not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's a bad movie. It is not the worst movie I've ever seen. But yeah, that is officially the end of the Second Crusade. It didn't go so great. It ended pretty badly. Lots of people got killed. Wild Wild West. Oh man. I don't even remember the last time I've seen that movie. It has been a long time since I've seen Wild Wild West. I just know that the steam powered like steampunk spider thing was just too much. It's just too much. Spice World, you thought it was called Dune? Yeah, I've seen Spice World. Spice World is the prequel to Dune. I guess in that it came out in a world that happened before Dune happened. So if you want to say that Spice World and Dune took place in the same universe, but Spice World was like 4,000 years before it, I'll totally give you that, Kyle. I'll totally give you that. Now you can start drawing parallel themes between the two of them about how the culture of Spice World manages to show up in Dune. And I don't doubt that you could do that if you looked hard enough. 10,000 years before. You can only take that movie in doses. I mean, I've seen some real hot garbage movies. I went through a period of time where I literally watched everything that came out in the theaters. I knew people at the movie theaters, and I would go just about every week, and some weeks multiple times a week to the movies. And if you went on Tuesday at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they would just let me walk in. And I watched a lot of movies that were hot garbage for free. Scary Spice's hair is the basis for the Orange Catholic Bible. Perhaps. But Scary Spice didn't have orange hair. You mean Ginger Spice. Scary Spice is Mel B, who did not have orange hair. You are one of the 3 people in the theater for the opening showing of Joe's Apartment. Oh yeah, because who loves talking roaches more than Kyle? Yeah, I had to correct your Spice theology there. It's weird that I know all the Spice Girls, isn't it? Anyway, nothing worse than Date Movie. I've seen Date Movie. It is pretty bad. There are movies worse than Date Movie. There are. They're out there. Thanksgiving is one of the worst movies that I've ever seen in my life. Velocipaster is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. There are a lot of bad movies out there. A lot of really bad movies. So we are about to have ourselves a poll. And here's what's going to happen. I am going to make a poll, and because this is a viewer request stream, I am going to ask you all what we should cover next. And I'm going to carry over the second place winner from the last poll, and what I'm about to ask you all is 3 things that you want to talk about. And I'll take the next 3. Marco Polo. We can do Marco Polo. Of course, Moose is going to hit us with Third Crusade. We'll talk about the Assassins, I guess. Jupiter Ascending is one of the worst you've ever seen. Oh, man. Jupiter Ascending is one that I wanted to actually go see because it was really, really hyped, but I didn't actually get to go see it. So I kind of dodged that one. The History of Sand, Moose, I think you're being persnickety. I could not do the History of Sand. Fish in the ancient world lived and pooped and died, and that's where sand comes from. There you go. We do need one more. So we have the second place winner from the last one was the Swedish Empire. The Third Crusade. History of the U.S. Federal Reserve. Oh, wow, that's a good one. All right. So here's what's about to happen. We now have our 4 options, and I'm going to hit start the poll. Anybody that's in the room, it doesn't matter if you are a follower, it doesn't matter if you are a subscriber, anybody that's in the room is going to get to be able to vote, starting right now. So if you look above you in the chat window, you can click the little down caret key, and you will be able to see the poll. And everybody in here gets to vote. And you can pick whatever you want to. Whatever you want to. Just go vote. Everybody can. There's like 30-something people in the chat. Everybody can go vote. Jupiter Ascending was bad. Boring as heck. Typical young adult garbage. Eddie Redmayne is not so menacing. Oh, I didn't know Eddie Redmayne was the baddie. 2, 4, 6. We have 8 votes right now. That's not even half of the people. You can go vote. Even if you don't think that you'll come back to hang out, you can still go vote. Make your voices heard. Exercise agency. go click on a vote. It's easy to do. Uh-oh. I don't know what uh-oh means, dude. The dude of dudes. Did you vote for the wrong one? Or did you not see one that you liked? We have a four-way tie. Vote Marco Polo. I'm Barack Obama. I endorse this message. Vote for me, and I'll make sure we get extra recess and double dessert from the cafeteria. Kyle, I think you're lying to me. I don't think students have that much power. Everybody go vote. Everybody go vote. Everybody go vote. We have 10 people voting. We need... Oh, now we have a three-way tie. Oh, good gracious. We have a four-way tie. We have a four-way tie. A four-way tie. Does that mean I get to pick? We've literally never had this before. Hey, Grathar. Here's what we're going to do. Grathar, who just came in and did not vote, Grathar gets to be the deciding vote. Grathar is an old-time supporter for the channel. Grathar gets to pick. So, Grathar, you get to decide. We just voted for a new viewer request stream. And for the first time ever, we had a four-way tie. A four-way tie between all four of our ideas. So here, and Sci-Fi didn't get a chance to vote, alas. I don't feel like we need to rerun the whole thing. I feel like I've already said that Grathar is going to get it, so Grathar gets to decide. So we have four options, and I'll type them here into the chat. All right. And don't... yeah. Grathar, U.S. Federal Reserve. Okay, well, that was easy. That took like no time. Okay, so our next topic is the U.S. Federal Reserve. Rigged. It can't be rigged. It literally can't be rigged. It's not like I had Grathar sitting in the wings and sent him a surreptitious text like, come in and say Federal Reserve. We all saw when he popped in the chat. It was clearly after the vote. I think that Grathar, being a longtime supporter of the channel, is a legitimate decision to make. Kyle had Grathar sitting in the wings. You'll send me 7 Bitcoins. Oh, wow. 7 Bitcoin is a lot. That's a lot. Okay, so we will do Federal Reserve, and I'll tell you what, because Sci-Fi Taoist would have probably voted and vote Swedish Empire, we will carry over Swedish Empire to the next vote. So there we go. 7 Bitcoins is $65,000. Holy crap. That's a lot of money. Yeah. Okay. So for the next viewer request, we will talk about the United States Federal Reserve, which is a really bizarre system that we use to basically print fake money. And we'll talk about what fake money is. Mac in a lab coat will scrutinize the daylights out of me because I have very weird opinions about how the Federal Reserve should work, and I don't really like allowing inflation, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that we've argued about in really, really strangely nitpicky ways in the mod chat about this. Economy stuff, sigh. It's a viewer request. I'll make it fun. We'll play a game with it or something. I'll figure out some way to get it a little bit more fluffy. Can confirm that Shane and Mac are super into this discussion. Bitcoin is at around 57. Oh, only 57K right now. Oh, yeah. Happy Rex Manning Day. Hey, Bubba. Good to see you. You were... KP's like, roll eyes, sips coffee, right? You live in the capital. You need no federal nonsense. Well, we'll talk about the background of it, too. How about that? And we'll talk about the whole way, the reason it got set up. And that will be more interesting than just the pure economic stuff. There we go. Okay, so now it's time for us. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. And we'll go see who we are going to raid. Who we going to raid? Who we going to raid? Let's see if there are any Knowledge Fellowship fellows online. For those of you that don't know, I am part of a streaming group called the Knowledge Fellowship. And it is a group of education streamers who... Dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. El Compota 12. Thanks so much for that follow. And welcome to the adventure. Can I say Enye? I can. Enye? I can say lots of words with Enye, I guess. You think... the puppy. The puppy. I had it first, Joey. Let me call the puppy. And we'll get the puppy of war up. No, not to be confused with Inya, who sang that really great song, Return to Innocence, and that guy in the background going, hey, hey, hey. Kaylee! I hear her up front. She was pretty clearly asleep, and she's looking for a toy because she wants to bring a toy back here to show me a toy. Let me call her again. She's probably so excited and freaked out that she's stalled somewhere halfway in the hall. Here she comes. Oh, and yes, she has the chicken. Come see me. Come here. Come here. Come see me. Come on. Oh, yes, it's a puppy. Oh, it's a puppy. Hello. Oh, my goodness gracious. You see the chicken? Oh, goodness. Hello. Were you asleep? Were you in deep puppy slumber? What are you doing? You're going to talk to me? Huh? You're going to woo at me? What? She wants something. What? What is it? You want your chicken back? Well, come get your chicken. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come and see me. Get your chicken. All right. There's your chicken. Are you going to hang out now? You'll be a good girl or you're going to go back up front? Yeah. Okay. Oh, the dog. Such a mess. Such a mess. Yes, we can throw the puppy of war emote in the chat. Your dog is watching now too. Well, I'm glad to be entertainment to all friends, followers, and friends' pets. Never be ashamed of ice cream. Heck no. No more kind of shame. Yeah. She is healed up. Best 3 monster trucks. Oh. Man. Now, I know that a lot of people immediately want to say Gravedigger is clearly the best monster truck. I don't believe that is the case. Gravedigger is a good one, and I like Gravedigger, but my favorite and what I think is clearly the best is gotta be Bigfoot. Bigfoot was like the original monster truck. I, as a child, loved me some Bigfoot. I think it's a cooler thing. I just think it's a cooler color. I appreciate the fact that they had different versions of Bigfoot. Like they had the Bigfoot that was kind of regular Bigfoot, but then they had the Bigfoot that had like the gigantic, enormous tires that were like 4 or 5 times taller than basically everything. Bigfoot was kind of like the original monster truck. Now, Gravedigger is probably number 2, just to be honest. It's a very, very famous one. It was one of the first ones that had a different like configuration. You know, it was sort of, it looked a little bit like a hearse, and I like the color combo there. But I don't know. Number 3, that's kind of hard because everything else sort of falls under those 2 for me. Probably Superman, the Superman big monster truck. I liked it because the stylization on it, like coming out from the cab and covering the bed of the Superman monster truck, they had this really big cape, which was pretty cool. El Toro Loco is a good one. That's a good one too, because it's got like the horns that came off the top of the cab, and I like the red and yellow mix. I think I'm still probably going to have to go with Superman though, but I do like the cape a little bit better than the horns that come off. Used to have a Bigfoot poster. Truckzilla is, I don't know if Truckzilla qualifies as a monster truck. The fact that it could transform and eat cars, that's pretty friggin' great, right? I mean, that's amazing. Used to have a signed Bigfoot poster. Oh, from the guy that drove it. I went to see Bigfoot when I was a kid. It showed up at the Jackson Auditorium, or the multipurpose center there. And my parents brought me up there to watch the monster trucks, and I got to sit in the wheel, right? So I got to take a picture in the wheel of Bigfoot. So that was a pretty cool thing. So just to clarify one more time, Bigfoot, number 1 for me, Gravedigger, Superman. There we go. In a close 4th, El Toro Loco. I don't know if I have that photo. If I did, it would be at my parents' house in the big cedar chest. I could probably ask my mom if she knew where it was, and see if she could dig it out. Maybe that should be a point redemption. Show an embarrassing child photo of me. I don't know. Maybe. All right, let's see who's around. Unless somebody else wants to. I don't want to watch that. So I don't know. We'll see if I can go get like old, really big, weird things. You saw him at the Coast Coliseum, about 8 years old. You forgot what year it was, but a rally came near you. Top 3 Pixar movies. There's a Redemption JMR. If you want to do top 3s or pick 3s. And usually what happens is people give me 3 things and then I rank them. But I've been sort of lax about actually redeeming that in that way. And just sort of letting people have fun with whatever they want. Top 3 cats and why yours is the best. I don't know 3 cats. I know that our neighbors have 3 cats, and I don't care for any of them. Is that rude? Maybe. I don't know. They're just cats are not my thing, really. I don't really have a lot of luck with cats. I usually end up getting scratched or bitten. Just not really my thing. All right, so I'm not really seeing anybody in the Knowledge Fellowship that's doing learning stuff. There's some people playing games. If I was going to rate a game streamer, I would probably rate somebody that I actually knew though. Cat Stevens, Cat Power, Cats are jerks. Oh, I see what you're doing there, Kyle. I see what you're doing there. Cat Power is better than Cat Stevens, in my opinion, but I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack from that. Josie and the Pussycats. Okay, top 3 Pixar movies. Might be some more hot takes here. For me, number 1 best Pixar movie, hands down, ever, is WALL-E. I love WALL-E. I think it's a great movie. I think it's got some of the best message that Pixar movies have. And I'll be really honest, I don't really like Toy Story after the first one. I know that's kind of a hot take too. It just lost magic and became kind of a photocopy of itself after the first one. So WALL-E is pretty easy. Number 1 for me. Number 2 is Brave. I really like Brave. This is very, you might say that I'm, rigging the system here because Brave is all about a Celtic princess. But, call me what I am, but I'm consistent. WALL-E, Brave, and then, this is kind of hard. I like The Incredibles, but I think that Up is probably the better film. And I have to pick 2, so I'll probably say WALL-E, Brave, and then Up. So there you go. I like Brave. I like Brave. I know. Brave is not Brave is Pixar. What's wrong with it's Pixar animation, right? Brave is totally Pixar. Brave, then Tangled, then Up. Tangled was cute, but it got really weird. Like especially with the horse. I can't even remember the horse's name, but like the interaction between the horse and the guy that was supposed to be the love interest, it just got a little old. Yeah, Maximus, right? What about Coco? I haven't seen Coco. I am very behind on Pixar movies. I think the last one that I watched was probably, it might have actually been Brave. When was that? Like 2011? I may have seen Toy Story. I know I saw Toy Story 2, and I think I've seen Toy Story 3. But I don't remember when Toy Story 3 came out. I think Brave came out after. Yeah, okay, so I've seen Toy Story 3. I have not seen Toy Story 4. I don't really have any interest in it. I think Brave is probably the last one that I saw. I don't know, when did Finding Nemo come out? It's right around that time, too. No, Finding Nemo's way older. That came out, like, right when I was in college. I can't remember when they all came out. But, like, I haven't seen Inside Out, and I know a lot of people love that one. I haven't seen the Good Dinosaur. I think people like that one. I haven't seen the second Incredibles movie. There's a lot of them that I haven't seen just because I haven't seen it. If it came out, especially in the last couple of years, I probably haven't seen it. I'm going to cry. Coco is great, and I'm going to cry. WALL-E, Brave, and then Coco. See, there's some love here for my choices. The first Incredibles, I can't remember. Like 20. I was either in college or just got out of college. No, I was in college. Like 2006, or maybe 2005. I can't remember. I was in college though. 2005. Yeah, you saw Good Dinosaur. It was cute. Somebody said that it was Soul is good. I've heard that Soul is good. Ice Age is good, but is Ice Age Pixar? I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. Is Ice Age Pixar? Ice Age is Blue Sky Studios. Blue Sky Studios. It is not Pixar. It is owned by Disney, but it is not Pixar. Ice Age is DreamWorks. Ice Age is Fox. Ice Age is DreamWorks. So many decisions. Ice Age isn't even Disney. It says that the owner of the... I've just Googled here that Ice Age is owned by the Walt Disney Company. Oh, it's because Disney bought Fox. There we go. So it was Fox, and then Disney bought Fox. There we go. Yeah, Tuna's on it. Right. More of a Rankin Bass fan yourself. You don't think you've seen Olive Brave, but you remember loving WALL-E when you saw it. You really like Nemo. I thought Nemo was good. I think it belabored its point a little bit too much, and it got a little bit too the power of friendship will save us all. I don't know, like Fairy Tale, the anime. Like, when everybody's down, just remember that we'll die, except for the power of friendship will save us. And then, that's pretty much how everything in Fairy Tale ends. Let's see. Who is we going to go raid? We have been raiding... Let's look around. Cars 2 is probably the worst. I saw Cars 1 about 1 million times, and I have no desire to watch 2. When I worked at Sears, Cars 1 was on the loop that got played every day. It was Cars, then it was Devil Wears Prada, then it was Ballad of Ricky Bobby. And I don't ever really want to watch either of those movies ever again, because I've seen each of them probably 20, 25, 30 times over the course of working at Sears for about 2 years. Yeah. You used to work at Sears. I did too, Tuna. That was my job for about 2.5 years, selling TVs. You're streaming if you need someone. Nix, where are you? There we go. Nix is streaming and in my chat. Well, that's weird. Okay, cool. We're going to do Streamception. We're going to go raid Nix, who's doing some art stuff. Sounds good to me. Twitch. Nix-a-lotl. Boop. Nix-a-lotl. All right, here we go. This is going to be kind of weird. Do you do raid call to yourself when we raid you? You chose what movies we watched, Lord of the Rings and Tron Legacy. Yeah. Nice. That's a good one. All right, so we're going to go raid Nix, who is an art streamer. We'll see everybody over there in just a second. The next time that I will be streaming is this coming Thursday. Same stream time, same stream channel. And we're going to be talking about Constantine and the Reformation of Rome and building a lot of stuff and rebuilding everything, only for it to kind of fall apart. So, yeah, it's going to be fun stuff. We'll see everybody around. Thanks, everybody, so much for hanging around and having a good time tonight. Lots of good chat. Thanks for all the follows and all the subs. You do really make it easy to stream. And lots of love. Thank you all very much. Take care of yourselves. Make wise decisions. And I'll see you next time.